I know how this looks. A film buff whose movie of the decade is a 132-minute fuck-off robot versus kaiju slugfest and whose taste in music leans towards the heavier side of the medium, is reviewing a motion picture about a passive-aggressive alternative to war disguised as a song contest would, on paper, come across as an act of a desperate man. However, this was not to be the case. I love Eurovision, and I say that without a trace of sarcasm, guilt, or embarrassment. Don't get me wrong, it's not because I think that the music is groundbreaking. As far as my ears are concerned, trying to find anything that can be even mildly defined as a positive contribution to sound in a Eurovision Song Contest possesses the same level of difficulty as attempting to discover a word of truth in religious texts. No, sir, and indeed the people watching it with me, find entertainment in the form of using it as a platform for an absurdly ruthless drinking game whilst taking the piss out of it. In a caravan that we rented, because we're fucking awesome. However, contemporary circumstances have denied us this tradition in 2020, so I thought I'd give this a go, hoping that it will quench some of my thirst for Eurocracy. The plot follows Icelandic musicians Lars and Sigrid, aka Fire Saga, who are on a mission to fulfill their lifelong dream of winning the Eurovision Song Contest. I would go deeper into the storyline, but October is approaching and I'm yet to find some bullshit horror movie I can butcher in the name of seasonal relevance. According to the internet, the story of Fire Saga is a musical comedy, which I feel is a misrepresentation of the genre. The musical aspect is undoubtedly there. The comedy element seems to be unfindable despite how hard you may look. It's simply not funny. It did not inspire one laugh out loud, a minor chuckle, or an internal monologue of me saying, "That was funny." Sure, the rated 12 classification was never going to be able to cater to my taste in humour, but not even the physical comedy triggered any of the aforementioned reactions. In fact, the movie didn't even trigger anything at all, as I felt like I was being waterboarded by a formula that's been reused more times than this slide sequence. It's very reminiscent of a narrative belonging to any type of film involving a protagonist chasing their ambitious childhood goals. Happenstance creates the dream. Life is spent chasing the dream with limited, if any, support from parents who want them to embrace traditional employment. Opportunity of fulfillment arrives. Conflict between peers compromises fulfillment, but that's okay because we always end on resolution. Same shit, different faces. The acting is okay, I guess. Though Will Ferrell's and Rachel McAdams' attempt at an Icelandic accent is modest to say the very least, with Ferrell's frequently sounding more Irish than Viking, which put a blemish on any chance the movie had of immersing me. However, I liked how balanced the members of Fire Saga were. Sigrid was by no means the level-headed band member whose sole purpose is to keep Fire Saga's shit in check. Absolutely not. She is just as unhinged as Lars, but because of the formula that the movie adopts, I failed to be invested in their narrative, as I've seen it more times than I've witnessed cease and desist letters slide into my DMs. MVP goes to Dan Stevens' Alexander Lemtov. Stevens doesn't necessarily do the heavy lifting, and his performance as the movie's antagonist won't be showing him any accolades outside of this one. But what I will say is that if this movie managed to humour me even slightly, it would have been because of him. The Lion of Love is cunning, ruthless, cerebral, and oozes suggestive characteristics which are mirrored in his musical contribution to Eurovision that's naturally coated in implication. The spotlight has no choice but to deviate towards Stevens, and neither does your attention, because he has the strongest screen presence amongst the cast and actually has the capability to pull off the accent belonging to his character, which of course is Russian because this is Eurovision and cliches have to be met. Easter eggs come in the form of cameo appearances from popular figures in the song contest, and it really doesn't matter if you're completely oblivious to their identity. I imagine it was nice for the hardcore fans to see them sing again, but as far as the movie is concerned, their efforts very much disrupted the fluidity. Not to mention that Graham Norton's dialogue was very much diluted compared to the customary onslaught of sass he usually brings to the commentary booth. With regards to the music itself, I was very grateful for the way it was structured. We didn't get to hear a number from every participating country, and the songs that featured were only snippets of sound compared to the average track duration. This is a good thing because the story of Fire Saga has a 2-hour and 3-minute runtime, which is way too fucking long for a movie with such a basic storyline. The editing seems practically non-existent. Even if I was given the correct hardware and a sufficient amount of something that can make my heart rate maintain the BPM of a cocaine addict, I could easily trim the fat off this bloated heifer before the gimp wakes up. Overall, the story of Fire Saga captures the vibe one would expect to come from Eurovision. Depending on how you interpret that is entirely based on your opinion of the occasion. The music had the right amount of Euro-esque qualities, and the costume changes were frequently frequent enough for me to be nostalgic for a caravan. But as far as being a replacement for this year's cancelled song contest is concerned, well, would you be okay if your dentist decided to abandon traditional methods of treatment and opted to perform your routine checkup with a dragon dildo bat that has a fetish for cacti, Marvel memorabilia, and not bothering with a courtesy spit?